New York City Mayor Eric Adams just turned his back on his entire city. Most of it is Democrat, so I don't think that's a stretch to say that. How did he do it? Shutting down the asylums, shutting down the migrant hotels, the Roosevelt Hotel specifically. This is a historic change in New York City, and it shows where all of America is heading. It's no longer a safe haven for illegal migrants in these sanctuary cities. And it tells us that America is no longer playing around with the ultimate safety of our country. And we even seeing celebrities getting involved in this. Why? Let's find out here and now.
Today, we are announcing the Roosevelt Hotel, which served as both our asylum arrival center and the humanitarian emergency response and relief center for nearly 2 years, will be closing in the coming months. Thanks to the successful strategies we put in place here in New York City and because of policies we advocated for at the border. The Roosevelt Hotel was opened in May 2023 during the height of the crisis, with the city receiving an average of 4,000 arrivals each week. Now, thanks to our policies, we're down to an average of just 350 new arrivals each week. And while we're not done...
Now, just go ahead and say this. I'm pretty sure any conservatives that's watching this, they would notice what I'm about to say, that liberals are pretty pissed about this. They say that Eric Adams has been in the knee for Trump. Well, my question to the liberals that are angry, what is the man supposed to do? His back is against the wall. It's like liberals expect for you to sit there and be their slaves forever. His entire party has turned their back on him because he said that the migrant problem was a problem in New York. You start seeing massive investigations into his campaign, sexual abuse, complaints, etc. You only really see this, and I won't just say Democrats, in politics as a whole, when someone goes against their party. The same can be said for Republicans, same can be said for Democrats, although we see it a whole lot more with Democrats because we see a whole lot more people code switching sides. Now, what else is for this man to do? He say he wants to defend the city. Why can't liberals ever accept that sometimes they were wrong? Conservatives can so many times. So many times. They can admit that they're wrong. Hell, there's conservatives that believe Trump when it came to the vaccine narrative. And they said they were wrong for believing Trump with the vaccine. They say Trump was wrong for what he believed with the vaccine. And we can still accept and love the man for it, right? You can't see that with liberals. You can't see it. They can never sit there and say they're wrong. It's their right. You're wrong for not believing it. Eric Adams said our beliefs on the migrant problem was wrong. It's a threat to the people of New York. It's a threat to the people of America. We need to clean it up. Liberals are flabbergasted to the fact that he cares, and they even bringing Al Sharpton in. It's getting crazy out there.
Caring for those who came into our care, today marks another milestone in demonstrating the immense progress we have achieved in turning the corner on the unprecedented international humanitarian effort. Our administration has skillfully managed this crisis, which has seen over 232,000 migrants enter our city asking for shelter, and the Roosevelt Hotel has been key in allowing us to effectively manage our operation, processing almost 75% of individuals that have come into our care through these doors. Now, thanks to the sound policy decisions of our team, we're able to announce the closure of this site and help even more asylum seekers take the next steps in their journeys while simultaneously saving taxpayers millions of dollars. With this closure, we're closing 53 sites within a span of a year.
53 sites. So you have New York officials that have requested Al Sharpton. I swear, I cannot make this up. It feels like an episode of motherfucking Boondocks. Al Sharpton is coming here to speak about Mayor Eric Adams and speak his piece on the situation and try to progress the situation forward. What the hell is wrong with the Democrat Party that you have a nigga that is not a politician to come out and speak about what's going on in politics? Who the hell wakes up in the morning and say, God damn it, our mayor's in trouble. We need old Al to come up here and just settle this shit out. It's comical. It's comical. It's as if we got some beef out here in Tennessee about, let's say, an abortion ban, and we bring Joe Rogan in. Ain't no conservative looking for Joe Rogan to come in or Tucker Carlson. It's not a time for that. There's a time and place for these people, and it's not at the decision era. He's supposed to be making reactions. He's not leading the way. What the hell is Al Sharpton doing in New York deciding the fate of Mayor Eric Adams? You cannot make this up. You literally cannot make this up. I'm serious. Request it. This shit is a clown show, man. New York governor, listen, y'all. New York Governor Kathy Hochul requested Al Sharpton to come here and speak on this, man. And this comes after Al Sharpton met up with Tom Homan.
I had a meeting around 35 minutes with the governor and expressed to her my concern about what is going on in the city and the state. Let's make no mistake about it, that we are in this position because President Trump, who pardoned people that were videotaped physically assaulting people January 6th, if he really felt that Eric Adams had become a subject to a political vendetta, which is what his defense is, then why didn't he pardon him? Now make it clear, I'm not asking for a pardon. I'm talking about the inconsistency that led to this. The only reason that we are late facing a court hearing tomorrow, and the only reason that the governor has to make a decision to do something or not do something that has not been done in 235 years is because there was a double standard used on Eric Adams' case, that those that he claims he believed were victims. I do not believe that he should have gotten a pardon, but I believe that Donald Trump has been inconsistent. Having said that,
and Trump is still being brought up. Nigga, they talking about the migrants and talking about Eric Adams' decisions. Why do they always have time to bring up Trump?
The governor said to me that she's going to see what the judge decides tomorrow and keep deliberating with other leaders. My feeling is that the faith of the city people have been shaken, and there needs to be a resolve, but at the same time we must protect the law and not establish a precedent that could come back to haunt us.
So, Reverend, the governor should remove him.
I just answered that.
So,
What was the first question the governor asked you, Reverend?
That's my answer.
What was the first question the governor asked
My
you?
answer is that we're going to wait and see what the judge says tomorrow,
Okay.
so that we do not set a precedent. That suppose if today she removed him, saying because he's been indicted, and the judge says tomorrow I'm throwing out the indictment. So it would be premature to say that.
New York Mayor Eric Adams and the charges that were dismissed against him.
So glad you brought that up.
Here's Senator Tim.
Tell us what the story is, what happened there, and why were the charges dismissed?
Sure. And Emil, who has done an incredible job, he worked on this case, he looked at this case. It was an incredibly weak case filed to make deportation harder. That's why they did it. They took one of the biggest mayors in the country off the playing field in order to protect their sanctuary city.
It's showing, and it's crazy that we are in a crazy time in America where conservatives are defending Democrats. Now, if I have some liberals that's here that don't like Mayor Eric Adams, for the black ones, he is a pro-black person. So if you're a liberal, that he should automatically be good in your book. He's pro-black. And there's a ton of proof that Eric Adams is a pro-black politician. Now, I'll say this. If he's pro-black, he's looking out for the betterment of black people with his anti-immigration stance now. But can you at least admit for a second that it's kind of cool to see conservatives taking the side of a Democrat? Is this not truly America, a nation that's healing? It's one thing to say you support someone. It's another thing to sit there and fight with them and stand with them in their time of need. And that's what we're witnessing with Mayor Eric Adams.
It was so incredibly weak. It was about increases in airline tickets, upgrades in airline tickets in his official capacity, without getting into all the details of the fact. I don't even think it could survive a verdict. Excuse me. Incredibly weak case. That is the weaponization of government.
That's
when
lawfare.
You're filing, that's lawfare. When you're filing cases like that, to keep someone who criticized Joe Biden, who said they took away his security clearance, so he could not get the details, so he could not help enforce the deportation efforts in New York. And you know, these people are going after him. Ride a subway in New York, it's not safe.
Yep.
Violent crime is at an all-time high, and that's what they're doing. So it's not about weaponization, it's about ending their weaponization of the government and fighting violent crime and enabling cities like New York and mayors like Eric Adams to enforce Donald Trump's.
It is crazy that people are defending each other, that we have liberals defending conservatives and conservatives defending liberals. And it tells me that America is getting to the point where it's about the betterment of the people and not the betterment of the propaganda. And that's very important.
Immigration policies.
Mayor Adams, why don't you take questions from the press?
Just make a pad for us, that's all.
Why don't you take questions from the press?
Y'all liars.
What are we looking?
Look at this again. His laugh sounds like Jay-Z too. That's kind of weird.
Why don't you take questions from the press?
Y'all liars.
Look at that. He's gotten to the point where he doesn't even like his own press. It's crazy. They've lost the support of their own mayor. Eric Adams is calling the press liars to their face. And that's strange. You never see Democrats do that. You never see Democrats do that. They've completely lost him in his support because they were quick to turn on him. You know, they don't really care about a black man. They just care about black men that are submissive and listen to their propaganda and their ways of life. As soon as Eric Adams broke out of the hive mind, the hive went after him. And he sees it for what it is now. He understands that they are liars and he was living a lie. And he was helped push a lie as well.
What are we lying about exactly?
Yeah, what are we lying about exactly?
In 2023, the Pakistani government leased out the hotel for 3 years for $220 million to provide migrant accommodations and services. Now we wanted to discover what other things we could obtain by visiting the Roosevelt Hotel.
Hola. Hola. Muy bien. Bien, bien. So I walk in, guy's like, okay, so what are you doing here? I'm like, oh, I'm looking for asylum, refugee status.
¿Tienes su documento de inmigración?
No, lo que dije al señor que perdí todo en el camino entre Texas y Nueva York. No tengo nada.
Ok, tú tienes un ID.
No tengo nada.
No tienes nada.
Nada. Then he was talking to I guess, the supervisor. Yeah, just go ahead and register him.
Yes, register.
First day on the clock? Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Okay. Gracias. Filled out a little sheet, gave me a wristband. He said, do you want refuge in New York? Or do you want us to fly you to another state or another city?
O sea, un vuelo. Vuelo, por ejemplo, si tú tienes tu familia hacia otro estado en el país, podemos comprar el boleto para ir a encontrar a su familia.
Refugio está bien. Sí, sí.
So right here is James O'Keefe. He was exposing what was going on in these asylums, and it's actually the asylum that Mayor Eric Adams just now shut down. So it's completely relevant to this video, and it's some pretty damning statements that was released in here. And it was important for Mayor Eric Adams to shut down that hotel. I can't stand when that happens, because it was being used for a lot of human trafficking.
Oh, well, if you have family in like another city, we'll pay for your flight. The government will pay for it. Después si quiero vuelo se puede.
Tú puedes hacer aquí sin problema, sí. Nosotros van a comprar el boleto.
So in a post-9/11 America, a man who claims he is from a foreign country can secure a taxpayer-funded plane ticket and receive a temporary ID.
I'm in the system. That's my number. And they gave me this. They had me sign it, and I was about to get the medical exam.
This paper, sure.
Yeah, this is kind of like, I guess this is kind of like my temporary ID for here.
You got a temporary ID.
I guess.
Get into the place. These temporary IDs are used to gain entrance into homeless migrant shelters, including at a place called Randall's Island. Along the journey, I was looking for people with virtue, but it seemed around every corner was greed and graft and self-interest. I was filled with dread about what lay at the end of the Ward's Island Bridge, and yet there was a part of me that was looking for at least one glimmer of hope. Someone, anybody, who had an ounce of integrity left inside them. But I would need to be punched in the gut a few more times.
So this is where they end up right here.
His monologue's always so good, the way that he keeps the viewer engaged.
This footbridge right here takes you over to Randall's Island, where thousands of illegal migrants are currently housed.
But right up here you see the shelter and some workers there through the green fence. Hey guys, what is going on in there?
Shelter.
A shelter for who?
I seen the same thing in New York. They have the same thing in New York. They have these amazing, I'm sorry, not New York, in Chicago. In my Chicago documentary, Chicago the New Venezuela, with Mark Carter, it's crazy. They have these tents and they have these hotels where they're living better than American citizens and American homeless people. And it leaves you to wonder, why would the American government take care of individuals if they don't care about their own? Because it's something that they benefit from them. They got desperate individuals that's living in that hotel, right? That's ready to do anything and everything to get out of that situation. And that includes work for less, give data, help companies with their overhead, and overall bleed out Americans so they can start accepting lower wages. It's about absolute corporate greed. You see, if you have more and more people in America that's willing to get paid for less, guess what employers start doing? Hey, they start paying less. There's no way to actually word this other than that. It's corporate greed more than anything, and it's the destruction of the nuclear family as well. Now, you might think, why the hell would the government want to destroy a nuclear family? Wouldn't the government want the American people to have a nuclear family so they could be sustainable and help the economy? Yes, but the government found something that's a little bit more profitable than a sustainable economy built on people with values. It's to build an economy on degeneracy and dependency. Because if you take away the education, you take away the common sense, you got to depend on the government for sense and education. That means they can fill you up with propaganda and pay you significantly less than what you deserve. It's absolute greed, and it's the transition that they've pushed Americans to.
Homeless migrants? Am I allowed to just go in there as an American citizen and get a bed?
You just got here. Today our first day, bro. In the gotta go around.
They're taking a We're just taking a walk.
No. I literally saw you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. What the am I doing? I'm taking a walk. Why would you curse at me like that? What the am I doing?
Are you doing?
What are you doing?
Who are you?
I'm a citizen taking a walk through the soccer park.
Citizen trying to trespass.
How is it trespassing? I'm just on the soccer. How so?
What's that?
Hello. The NYPD are fans of ours, but they too aren't doing anything about the problems. Hey guys, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Nice to see you.
See you.
Yeah.
Investigations?
We're looking around here, yeah.
Do your thing, man. This is good. Penn City.
How many people are in there? Some couple.
About 4,000. And they just come in and take advantage. Live off the fat.
Live off the what?
Live off the fat.
What does that mean, like?
Well, like live off the fat on what the U.S. has to offer.
I want to make sure you guys can see the captions, so I keep removing my head. It's an absolute Mad Max city down this muff.
It's crazy. Right there. I've never seen anything like this in my life.
What the people voted for.
This statement is in.
And of course, we got the infamous AOC, the most intelligent woman in politics, breaking down the importance of these sanctuary cities and maintaining these hotels. These people are advocating for our own destruction.
Opposition to work permits and work authorizations for newly arrived asylees. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So you are in opposition, and in this letter it says, quote unquote, the migrants who have recently arrived in New York should follow the lawful immigration process. Does that sound familiar to you?
Yes, it is.
Are you aware that seeking asylum is a lawful immigration process?
When it is deemed to be asylum.
Yes.
It has not yet been deemed to be
And
asylum seekers.
are you aware that application, you have to arrive in the United States in order to apply for asylum, correct?
That
So
is correct.
arrival is also part of that lawful.
Arrival, you can arrive in any way. This is crazy. She's advocating for illegal immigration. It's like as long as you get there, you got the right to go to hotels in America. This shit is crazy. We're the only country that has politicians that is pushing for mass immigration. Why is it Mexico sends people back to America if they cross their borders? Why does no liberal accept that the same nations that sneak into America, if Americans try to sneak there, they wouldn't return the favor? And we have more to take from because they understand the importance of letting people in willy-nilly. It sets the precedence, it sets the narrative to come take what you want from this nation and pay no respects to those that built it. That's why it's too much. That's why Eric Adams is tired. And that's why liberals have lost a grip on New York City. Hell, we could be seeing New York turn red. Chicago, if you look at it, Donald Trump gained more votes in Chicago than any Republican president in the last 60 years. So what that tells me, we see the same thing happening with New York. We see the same thing starting to happen with California. I got to be careful when I say California because it's so damn big. But transitions are happening because these people have gone too far, too fast. Please like, comment, subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and click the notification bell to stay updated. Next post will be getting dropped at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, until we break the next narrative together tonight. See you guys.